Hello, my friends, and welcome back to the show that never ends. My name is Rod. Thank you for stopping by. This is a recent finds and kind of VCOT, but not really VCOT because the guy that gave it to me is not a member of the VC. In fact, he thinks we're kind of silly for sitting around making videos and talking about music. But he's my cousin, and he's a cool guy. He just got back from Milan, Italy, and he picked my wife up a couple handbags over there, and he picked me up a couple albums. Start me up, I already had it, but it doesn't matter because this is the Italian pressing of it. Really stoked to get this. I'm not a big variety collector, if that makes sense. I don't need a pressing from every country, but they're kind of cool. And the Rolling Stones are my favorite rock and roll outfit. And he knew that, and he picked me up this pressing from Milan. It's an original issue, pressed in that country. Still got the lyric sheet with it. It sounds wonderful. At first glance, it looked like it was going to be in rough shape, but it cleaned up really, really well. There's one song on the second side that looks like it would skip, but it doesn't. I'm not comparing this to like a Japanese pressing because I don't have a Japanese pressing to compare it to. But the grooves are really deep and the sound is wonderful. So very thankful to my cousin for bringing me back the Italian pressing of Tattoo You. Falling out of focus. He also hooked me up with Bob Dylan and Budokan. And again, it's pressed in Milan. Great album. We all know Live in Budokan, or actually it's called At Budokan, not Live at Budokan. And this came with the original booklet and poster, which is really hard to believe. An album well over 40 years old. Still going to have the booklet that came with it. And you can see the writing. I don't know if you can see it or not. But it's written both in Italian and English. Which is really cool. First part English, second part Italian. Still had the poster with it. Cool poster. Hard to believe this has been sitting in someone's collection for the last 40 plus years, way over in another country, and I finally got it in my collection. I'm really, really glad I got this, man. Very grateful to my cousin Glenn. It was from Tattoo Records. He said it was a small little store. He said it was very cool. The people working there were very nice, and he explained to them what he wanted, and they were hip to it, of course. They knew exactly what he meant, and they helped him pick out a few. So thank you, cuz. I appreciate it. A couple other things I picked up. An original issue of the Jackson 5 ABC. I know this was reissued for Record Store Day, and I passed on it. And, you know, I'm not a huge Jackson 5 fan, but I saw this for like $1 or $2 in great shape. I'd say a very good plus plus, and I couldn't pass it up. I had to purchase it. Also, from a friend of mine, I got the Rocky Horror Picture Show, an OG copy of it, mint shape. Rocky Horror. It's not something I'm going to jam to every day, but I'm glad to have it in my collection of soundtracks. An iconic movie, a classic movie. Anyway, I went to Lost and Found Records yesterday. Lost and Found Records is in Knoxville. Great record store. Always very helpful when you go there, man. And I took some trade to try to get hooked up with some new stuff. Got rid of some stuff I wasn't listening to. Mainly stuff out of my booth, stuff I don't listen to to begin with. And it wasn't selling, so I did the trade in. I saw this album, and King Caruso, King Caruso and me, we got to be friends when I lived in Texas. Great guy. And we had this CD. I didn't have it personally, but we had it at the radio station I worked at in Texas. And when we interviewed him, we're like, hey, Joe, what's up with this, man? Where is it? Michael Jackson. We're like, is Michael Jackson really on this album? And he's like, yeah, he really is. He said it was right before Thriller came out. And, or maybe not right before, but it was before Thriller. And Off the Wall had not taken off that big at that time. It was still climbing the charts. He was at his recording studio, and he saw Michael Jackson peek his head in the little window. He was looking through, probably thinking, man, what a bunch of goofy-ass white boys in there with spiked hair. And, of course, Joe waved him in. Hey, come on in, man. It's Michael Jackson. And they started talking, and Michael Jackson agreed to play a song. No royalties on it. Nothing. He just sang backup. And I always thought that was so flippin' cool. And when I saw this album in their used bin, first of all, I had to tell the story of the people working. And second of all, I had to get it, man. Just because Joe told me that story, and just there were so many reasons I just had to pick up this album. King Caruso. Also, this is one I've been wanting since it came out. This is Jack White. His latest album. This is wonderful. If you like Jack White, this is typical Jack White. It is just absolutely a great album, I think. Some people are going to be like, well, I don't think it's that good. Well, I do. That's just my opinion. You don't have to agree with it, and that's cool. Came with this little drawing. I always like Jack White stuff because the cool things he puts in his album. Great sounding album, man. He's coming out with actually a second album this year. And I believe it's supposed to be released in July, and I can't wait for that one. One thing I will say about this, when I opened up the vinyl, it had fingerprints on the album. And coming from Jack White, who's such a stickler, you know, he has his own pressing plant, and he's really all about, you know, the vinyl. But it didn't affect the play, and it cleaned up perfect, so it's no big deal. Also, I got Lou Reed. I remember having it on CD back in the day. I've been wanting this album, but it's one of those albums that you want, but it's not on the top of your list. You know what I mean? But I got a lot of store, well, not a lot. I got a significant amount of store credit. Plus, it was my wedding anniversary last week, and my wife had given me a few bucks to go with it. Picked up this classic rock and roll Lou Reed album, put in my collection. And last but not least, what the hell is this? Oh, that's the Jack White. I picked up this one, and I have not opened it yet. It's John Coltrane and Johnny Hartman. And I just saw 45 RPM, the audiophile man from over in Germany. We all know him. We all watch his channel. Give a serious review of this album yesterday. And I had heard about it. I knew I had put it in my cart on Acoustic Sounds website. And they had it over there. And I could not resist. So I have not played it yet. When I do play it, I'll let y'all know what I think. I'm sure it's going to be just crazy good. I've heard nothing but good things about it. Anyway, is this thing even on? I hope so. Yeah, it is. Have you ever done that before? You think you're filming a video and anyway, that was my trip to Lost and Found record. That was my gifts from my cousin Glenn. Thank you, Glenn, so much for the albums. And I want to thank everyone for watching. Y'all be cool. Peace.